Agbede houses. This is where the states constitute evil.
Hey, madam.
Look at it. Look at it.
Look
at it.
I beg na question I want to ask. Why they say these people now come person state? When I know come rent house, when I know come build house, to at least to insert for the city, to insert for the civilization where they there, continue the civilization. When I know come start up business, when I come inside bush, when I go stay inside bush, begin build all this small local house inside bush. I beg na question I can ask. When I come live for the state, I go na come create in our own village. Because you don't risk to ask question. Person to come, instead of you come inside state, come build house, you go find inside bush. Go they live, they create bush. Now this one you go here say 1414. Our first father migrate into this land because nothing else you can't create. Now your own entire in kindred you can't create there because in time to come this put go there. Because they're gonna say my papa, he live inside here, he settle inside here. Oh, they have for Bible, Abraham moved to Canaan, he settled in the land of Canaan. Now in this so.
The number of orphans that the crisis have created, the number of widows that the crisis have created. Look, this issue needs to be stopped very, and then those who are charged with the other responsibility, and they have to come on board and take it up as it's supposed to be.
Ndị jụrụ ajụjụ wee si o kedu ife mere na ndị Fulani bata n'obodo mmadụ ha dị eje akwụgwọ ụlọ ha dị eme any business ha na prefer ije banye n'ime ofia the forest of those people, those communities they came into and then stay there. And if you have an n'ime ofia eme ka onye ọbụla amabeghị up to now, and it's very clear that everybody amago it is open because MAZI NNAMDI Kanu has revealed it long time ago. So if you have many more and them mad and their forests be fed here Nigeria no do nkwafu obara ha no today. Please, I want you guys to watch this video. Go on know the story of Ndinona Plateau State Jos. Echekwana no na Southeast nkwafu obara and the Fulani na-eme. No story of Ndinona Plateau State na Jos. You know the Fendi and the Christian and that states. I don't want to talk much in this video. Just settle down. You watch this video from beginning to the end. If you see the video, you want to drop your opinion again in the comment section. It was the video. Can also we want to want the updates. Watch the rest of the video, guys. I will be right back.
Yet another series of sad tales coming out of Plateau State, a state that should normally not be in the news for killings, should be in the news for greater things, positive things. But this is where we are. Over 50 people killed, over 1,000 displaced as a result of the attack on Bokkos. We're joined on the program, as you can see, by Major General Augustine Agundu, former Commander Operations Safe Haven. He joins us live from our Abuja studio. Good morning, General. Welcome to the Morning Brief.
Good morning, Kayode. A pleasure to be here with you. Good morning, Nigerians.
Certainly, and we really hope that we can find a lasting solution to this. It's a topic that we've been on for years now. You can almost predict that every year you'll have at least 5 incidents on the plateau, sometimes even more. And this time around, over 50 people killed. You have had to sit in the command, rooms, look at issues from a bird's eye view, different from what people see on the ground. You see all of the different factors that come together to cause insecurity and killings like this. So I'd like to ask, General, when you look at this plateau situation yet again, what do you see that we may have been missing all this while?
Yeah, unfortunately, the situation in Plateau is regrettable that actually took place. It's one death too many, and we know that a lot of efforts are in place to ensure there is no repetitive of these attacks at the level at this carnage, at the level that we have seen. It's just too unfortunate because people have decided to take laws into their hands. We must be mindful that the situation in Plateau remains very volatile. It's a case of a multi-dimensional threat to peace and security, to coexistence of all, and it's also an incident that has lingered for too long. And what we have now prevalent in Plateau, you see this segregated type of living, segregated type of communities. We have a long ethnic line, a long religious line, which makes it prone to a lot of attacks against each other. And what we see, unfortunately, from this recent one is also cases of vengeful reprisals. It started way back since February. The troops on the ground, Operation Safe Haven, have been able to contain it over the period, and they have done very good professional work to ensure that it never get out of hand. It's unfortunate that these reprisals across board in both sides of the divide is what normally worsens it. And once we get some kind of respite, everybody go to sleep.
General, I do not know whether it's just idealism to believe that there's such a thing as perfect peace except in death. But there can be some level of sanity, because we live in a global world where we see that there are climes that even where people disagree, do not, maybe don't even want to see one another eye to eye. They're able to coexist some way or the other because they're around by law and there is a consequence of bad behavior. So sometimes it's difficult to say what exactly is responsible for the perpetuity on the platter. When I saw the story at the weekend, it just felt very sad, because I just remember that less than a year and a half ago, December 24th, and even I think in early January of December 24, 2023, and I think January 2024. So cumulatively, I think Nigeria lost about maybe 150 to 200 people in that same Plateau state. So from your experience as a general who has been in these places, what exactly is the core issue, if we want to be brutally honest? Is it that we are not brutally honest, that's why we're not having a closure? Or this is just difficult to deal with?
You're absolutely right. We are not, I like the choice of word, brutally honest in the issues that emanate from Plateau. And we must go to the root causes of this. And it has been in that dichotomy of indigenous and settlers. Unless that is resolved, that is the root cause of the problems on the Plateau. Who is an indigenous, who is a settler? And unfortunately, the Constitution did not express that. I do hope that those looking into the constitutional amendment will be able to address that. In one aspect, you address as a citizen, and in another aspect, you address as an indigenous. And that's on one there. And again, these are people who have lived together for years, and suddenly this animosity, deep-rooted animosity against one another, is what has make it to linger over and again. It's unfortunate, like I said, it is one death too many, and there is a lot of effort that is on from the military side, from the other security agencies and all whatnot, to stem the tide of it. If not for their efforts, it would have been worse than we are experiencing today. It's unfortunate. Effort must be made to secure life, to see ourselves as one Nigerian living in peace and harmony with one another. Unfortunately, certain persons are there to make sure that that does not happen. And then the other aspect that is also at the root cause is some kind of weak legal system, because even in a situation whereby criminals are arrested, the provisions that to try them are just so weak. It's like a slap on the wrist, and then they go back to the community and even cause more havoc. So we must have a deliberate effort that say, let us put this behind us. And at the root of it all is this dichotomy. If it's not resolved, that's going to be a problem. I was privileged when in 2019, when the House of Assembly, after inauguration, they visited me as commander on the ground. And I told them bluntly, and perhaps, I don't know, for lack of choice of words, that if you are all representatives of the people, if you don't address this issue of indigenship and settler, this problem will keep on going on. And again, at the root of it, yes, like you said, there will always be issues of disharmony and all whatnot. But when it goes into killings and reprisals and counterattacks and all whatnot, then that means things they will get out of hand. And most often we forget that the communities are far flung from one another. Some are like 20 kilometers far apart, some are 50 kilometers far apart, and there are no infrastructure connecting these communities. Even in some communities, you cannot reach them by motorbike. So, and once there are attacks, they choose their target very carefully. And before the security agencies can even react, the havoc has been committed. And it might also interest us to realize that when you are talking about counterattacks and reprisals, it's always to other innocent communities who were not at the initial bane of the problems. So we must be able to come together as a people to agree on how to address the issue in Plateau, and by extension, the entire North Central states.
So, General, as much as we're being brutally honest, I want us to also target that honesty at the right people. So that Nigerians know who to hold responsible, or at least know where the problems are, so begin to troubleshoot it. We've heard different stories and accounts of security operatives arresting people, and after a while they get calls, in quote, from above, saying, well, you have to let those people go. You have operated in that area, you have led the Operation Safe Haven, so you might want to speak to that. Is that something that happened or still happens, where you get calls and say, you know, you have to let those people go, or do you want us to have trouble on our hands? That's on the one hand. When you say the indigenous settler issue is responsible for this, What is the solution, really? Some have said, well, everybody should stay in their domain, but this is Nigeria, right? There is some sort of freedom of movement. So some said, you know, let's just have security bases in these areas. We had security bases, but you hear the people say, well, we call the military or security operatives, and they come hours after the attack. So they also allege complicity on the part of the security operatives. So two questions in one: interference from people from above in that sense, and complicity on the part of security operatives. Is that something you experienced during your time, General?
I will want to totally disagree on the aspect of complicity of the military or the security agencies generally. In the first instance, there is a very good interagency cooperation on the plateau. All the agencies of government, all the security agencies, they are functioning as one body, and they also share information and share knowledge, and also even material and expertise. So the complicity there is always, and we have to be very careful on who is talking, because most often people talk from their own ethnic biases. Unless we are able to hold this in that a criminal is a criminal irrespective of where he comes from. And unfortunately, there is an aspect in the entirety of the Plateau conundrum that we're not even looking at. The number of orphans that the crisis have created, the number of widows that the crisis have created. Look, this issue needs to be stopped and then those who are charged with the other responsibility, and they have to come on board and take it up as it's supposed to be. I've been in touch with distinguished Senator Simon Bakulalong, and I know all the effort that he's been carrying out on regarding, even though it's not his senatorial zone, distinguished Senator Dickett Plank. I know all the effort that they are doing at their own levels and all whatnot. And again, let's go back to the position of the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa. He remained and maintains that every of our insecurity or every of our security challenges has only 30% military effort, while the other 70% is the whole of a society. Now, most often, once the situation is started out, like you mentioned, from 2023 to 2024, December, January, we saw what happened in that period, and even now, what is going on now, which since 27th of February this year, that's when this particular situation commenced, and the security agencies have nipped everything on the board. But like I say, and from my own experiences, the criminals, I call them criminals, they choose their target far flung from society where there is no infrastructural development that connects the people together and all whatnot, and they carefully choose their target and execute their heinous crime.